I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that pick.
Right.
Right? One of the most decorated, nominated.
Except for Donald Trump.
Welcome to SinCast, presented by Cinemasins.
Today's show is brought to you by Bombfell. For $25 off your first purchase, visit bombfell.com/SinCast. All right, everybody, welcome to the SinCast. This is Chris Atkinson from Cinemasins, joined as always by the voice of Cinemasins, Jeremy Scott.
Oh, Wimbaway.
Ooh.
Huh?
It's from The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a real word.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is for sure. It's in the vernacular.
Yeah, I'm pretty
That's
sure
probably like some sort of dirty act in the Urban Dictionary.
I'm
sure it is.
That's the way they
will be after this podcast.
That's the way they got away with stuff back then. Like whenever this song came out, they're like, "This means fucking," and like weem away, and they're just saying. Nobody knows what this means except us. It's so amazing.
Hey, honey, you want to weem away tonight?
It's like that Friends of P song. Nobody knows who P is. Yeah. And for music video sins, Barrett Share.
Hello there.
And today we're going to be doing the Mount Rushmore of Actresses.
Actresses.
Yeah, baby.
The best, Jerry. The best.
I want to go to Mount Rushmore. Take me, take me, take me, take me now!
Hail to the chief, he's the chief and he needs hailing.
The
best of the best of the best, sir. That's very funny to me.
Now,
I saw somebody say on Twitter that it was like condescending for us to break them up. And I didn't understand that because first of all, we're just kind of doing what the Academy and Golden Globes do anyway. Mm-hmm. But I think if we combine them into one, the women would have gotten short shrift.
Well, there's that, and then there would just be the sheer number of them.
That's the problem, right? And again, this goes back to why I think the Oscars still have this split up, because it would be you wouldn't be able to get as many varied winners by doing it all in one category.
Yeah, you oversaturate the pool if you do it that
right.
way.
So then you're going to have, you're going to get 10 of the best actors and actresses all together, or maybe sometimes you'll have just 8 actors and 2 actresses. Mm-hmm. If you expand the category, there's a lot of other issues that get involved.
But it's the same thing as supporting and lead too.
Right.
You want to give the most opportunity to people to be able to get to this, and plus the idea of a female Mount Rushmore is appealing on many levels.
Yeah. You're being pervy, aren't you?
Yeah. I would.
You want to see some rock boobs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. That's right. Last week we did Mount Rushmore of Actors, and there's of course there's going to be times we forget people and everything, and that's. I don't think we've ever come out here to say this is the most comprehensive list or this is something that, 50 critics would come up with or anything like that.
Definitive in any way.
This is if you were to see us on the street and we just started talking movies and then this topic came up. This is how it would go.
Yeah, it's like if we were sitting around in a bar having a beer, just talking movies, like we were doing before this podcast ever started. Yeah, and we might have this exact kind of conversation. I know we've had conversations before where we like rank the best this or the best that. So this is just an extension of that,
right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're gonna forget some. We're gonna also like dismiss some here and there. This is what's in the room, what we think at the moment, essentially, and yeah. We'll forget some, and that's great because we will get to talk with you people afterwards.
That's right,
and discuss those actors that we did miss. But we try to get as many as we can. It's a 2 hour,
I think we get a lot,
2 hours podcast that we're never going to get everybody. Right. We're always going to forget somebody. So anyway. Let's go right into the conversation today. Who do we want to do the 3, 2, 1?
I like it too much to not, even though I think today we might all say the same name.
You think?
I get the sense there's one slam dunk.
In fact, I almost said it already, so let's do it. Count us down.
3, 2, 1.
Meryl Streep.
Whoa, first one!
All right, so we just locked one inside of 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that pick.
Right.
One of the most decorated... nominated.
Except for Donald Trump.
know he's listening to this right now.
Yeah, he totally is.
Meryl Streep is not only great, but she's been great for a long time. People forget that. I think if you're not paying attention, you only remember her most recent movies. But she's been at it a while, and she's always been awesome. She's almost like, well, some of the men we put on the Mount Rushmore last week.
Yep. 20 Oscar nominations.
Incredible.
Jeez.
3 wins. It's kind of amazing she's only won 3.
Yeah, I agree.
What did she win for?
She won for Kramer versus Kramer. She won for Silkwood, and then she won for Iron Lady. Which shows you how random things are. There's so many different movies she could have and probably should have won for. The only knock I have against Meryl Streep, and this would never knock her down because we're talking about the straight up acting here. She's in very few movies that I hold in high regard.
That's a good point.
The like adaptation may be my favorite of hers out of all the ones that she's in, like, as far as movies. Now, performance wise, she's really good in stuff like Sophie's Choice. And So, Sophie's Choice is a movie that I watched that movie, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so.
It's not one that you pop in on a Saturday afternoon.
No. And, I just got the sense that this Sophie's the whole thing that we are drawn to with that movie is the choice. Everything around the choice is not, it doesn't seem like a great movie.
It's all about the choice.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, she got nominated for Deer Hunter. I don't like the Deer Hunter very much. Kramer versus Kramer is an okay movie. I didn't think it's great. I've never seen The French Lieutenant's Woman.
I haven't either. Now, did she get nominated for Doubt?
She did. Now, Doubt's another good one.
She's fantastic.
In fact, everybody got nominated in Doubt, essentially.
Rightfully
She
so.
carries. Okay, Philip Seymour Hoffman is awesome in that movie, but that last scene with her and Amy Adams makes the entire movie.
Yeah.
That she's able to admit that is huge, because any other movie she's just almost a cardboard villain.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I just love that movie so much.
That scene between her and Philip Seymour Hoffman, where they're just, he's like, you're focused, you're totally destroying my life, and she stone face. She's like, that's it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that's and that's what makes that movie so good, is because it's not like you said, it's not somebody who by the end of it is just the same about everything. It's like she sort of like has to think back on her actions and everything, and I believe that was this was an award-winning play before it was a movie. But the movie, everything shines through in there. It's not like one of those usual play adaptations where you're like, this is just a play or whatever.
Yeah,
so
no.
it turns out really well.
But then she's got so much range. Like Devil Wears Prada, that movie came out of nowhere. It was a huge hit, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. But it's kind of a stock comedy. It's like a Swimming with Sharks type of situation.
It is following the numbers, but she elevates it.
Yep.
And I also think
Anne Hathaway?
Yes, thank you. By my finger wag, you knew who I meant. I also think she's really good in that role.
Yeah.
But it's Meryl Streep that just rules that entire movie and makes it more compelling to watch, right? I think you put any other person in that role and it's forgettable.
It's forgettable, and it would be one note. Which is actually, I was reading a story about this where there was a scene that was cut from that movie where it shows her like when they're at a party or something like that, like she thanks Anne Hathaway's character or something like that for getting away from her husband. And they cut that because they didn't want her to be that nuanced until the very end.
Right, this little surprise thing at the end.
It's the same as Up in the Air.
Yeah.
Great glowing letter of recommendation.
Right.
Anyway.
And let's not forget Emily Blunt. She was good too.
And Adrian Grenier.
Yeah, exactly. In his 2 scenes.
What's funny is I remember vividly, I don't know why this line always, my wife loves this movie, so I've seen it plenty of times, but when he makes that grilled cheese and she doesn't eat it, He's like, there's $8 of Jarlsberg in there. Because he's like a chef. It was like maybe the first time I'd ever even heard of Jarlsberg cheese. I still have yet to make a grilled cheese with it, though, but I bet it's good.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, Devil Wears Prada came out on the same day as Superman Returns.
No.
And it was offered up as sort of counter-programming.
Good
and
choice.
It did
It's
very
the much
well.
better movie.
Yeah, did very, very well doing
Nobody
that.
gets shot in the eyeball in slow motion in that movie.
That's right. But yeah, Meryl Streep is great. I don't think there's any chance she gets knocked off here. But
Great Mount Rushmore face, too. you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
She got a very recognizable face.
She does.
She does.
I guess out of all the performances, where maybe all where the performance in the movie are in sync for me is Silkwood. I love Silkwood. I think it is your sort of a disaster movie in a way. It's not like 2012 or
Geostorm.
Geostorm or whatever like that. But it's one of those dangers of working at a nuclear plant type of thing. I don't think it's nuclear. It's something else.
I haven't seen it. It's about like a.
They do something where they handle radioactive stuff and everything, and there's like a lot of it's kind of like Norma Ray and all that, where you have bad working conditions or stuff's not safe or whatever like that. And she was the champion of like getting all this, type of stuff. And the real life person died under mysterious circumstances. The movie sort of suggests that maybe there was foul play, but of course at the end of it they got to say nobody really knows, that type of thing.
Please don't sue us.
Yeah, exactly. But Silkwood's really good. Going on to another one. Who else we want to look at?
Well, the next name that comes to me is Sally Field.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting is that we accidentally did kind of like a little preview of this episode like 8-10 weeks ago when we did our Women in Film, because we're going to hit a lot of the same names.
Mm-hmm.
And I told that story about watching Norma Ray with Sally Field right in front of me. She had very nice perfume.
Nice.
And she had a very lovely, expensive-looking white winter coat.
That
But
was in Chicago, right?
Yeah, at the Music Box.
Nice.
But she's been great in a lot of things for a really long time. Again, she was really young when she started, and the famous "You Like Me, You Really Like Me." That's a young woman there.
Mm-hmm.
We think of Sally Field from maybe Mrs. Doubtfire era or Forrest Gump, but even when she was young, she was hitting home runs and getting nominated. How many nominations did she get?
Well, she's only got three nominations, 2 wins though. Norma Ray and Places in the Heart. Now, I believe Norma Ray, she was in her early 30s by the time that came along. But Norma Ray, Places in the Heart is where she did the "You Love Me, You Really Love Me" speech. I guess because after you win 2 in a row, or was it 2 in a row? It wasn't 2 in a row. It was just the second time that she had been nominated. She won. And she got nominated for Lincoln as well. The other memorable ones that I remember are Smokey and the Bandit, Forrest Gump, obviously, and Punchline, which is a movie that I'm finally hearing a bunch of people say that they like.
Yeah.
It didn't do nothing back in the 80s.
No.
Nobody cared about that
Matter
movie.
of fact, I remember it more being on HBO than I do like the theater run or anybody talking about it. Like it was all like the cable run that even put it as a blip on guys our age radar. But it was like, man, I mean, that's just such a good concept. It's such great performances, and she holds her own against fucking Tom Hanks.
Yeah, man, absolutely. That we talked about that before too, where she's the sort of the love interest. Although I think she's married to John Goodman in Punchline. She's sort of the love interest, or at least the equal of Tom Hanks in that movie. And then 6 years later, she's playing his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In Forrest Gump.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Sally Field is great. I don't think I have beyond that. I don't have much knowledge of her other work though. I mean, I saw Not Without My Daughter a million years ago. I don't remember anything about it.
She is pretty good as the straight woman in Mrs. Doubtfire, though.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, that was the first name that came to my head.
Chris, how much of Katharine Hepburn's stuff have you watched?
Not much.
Not very much.
Not much. And this is where as I was doing my customary research last night, I realized, man, I'm so deficient.
Which is crazy, given as many movies as you've seen.
Exactly. Just when you thought you pushed yourself in watching as many fucking movies as possible.
Well, that's because you're just a woman-hating misogynist.
Well, that's part of it. But really, when it comes down to it, But yeah, I went through Katharine Hepburn and I was like, man, how many of these have I seen? Like 2.
Really? Have you seen Lion in Winter?
Might be more than mine.
I saw The Lion in Winter way back in the day when I was in high school. Don't remember anything about it and probably poo-pooed it at the time because I was like, fuck this. I'm not going to watch some bullshit like this. The Philadelphia Story is, I definitely have seen. I didn't even like the Philadelphia Story. And then, but she's been nominated 12 times.
Jesus.
That's like Nicholson style.
She won 4 times.
Wow.
One for Morning Glory, and like everybody like got nominated and won except for Sidney Poitier in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. She won, and The Lion in Winter, where she tied with Barbara Streisand.
Oh, for Funny Girl,
yeah.
right?
And On Golden Pond, which was the 1981.
I definitely have seen that.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that even. And she's been nominated a whole bunch, like African Queen, Summertime. There's another Rainmaker movie.
Oh, I've seen African Queen too.
Yeah, I haven't seen African.
Isn't that
Queen.
Bogart?
Yeah,
yeah.
It was. By the way, Bogart was one of the big ones last week that people were bringing up.
Yeah, but just a quick sidebar on that. Would you put Humphrey Bogart as the best actor?
Let me put it this way. All the ones that were mentioned, I would not knock off anybody for.
Yeah.
Now,
he may be up on the movie star.
Again, it's more, I think more people will just wish you would talk about them and everything. Again, time and all that type of stuff usually is the reason. But anyway, Katharine Hepburn, is it possible that we could end up putting her up there without even knowing?
She's got the stats.
She does.
And it speaks to her reputation, too.
Right.
When you said, how many Katharine Hepburn movies have you seen? I almost said, well, I've seen way more Audrey Hepburn movies.
Yeah.
Because she's going to have to be in the discussion, too. I don't know if she has quite the nominations that Katharine Hepburn has.
Well, and we'll get to her right after this, but yeah, no, she doesn't. But Katharine Hepburn and famously did not like Meryl Streep.
Oh, yeah?
Because apparently when Hepburn watched a Meryl Streep performance, she would say, you can see the gears turning in her head. You can hear the click, click, click as she's acting or whatever. So apparently she wasn't a big fan of how Streep went about her business.
Interesting.
Man, if they'd had social media back in the day, that would have been a big deal.
Oh, it would have been awesome.
That would have been like Beyonce feuding with Jesus.
Yeah. Meryl, what's good? What's good, Meryl?
Yeah.
But Katharine, didn't she? She was the one that had that inimitable voice, right? It's like, very wavering.
Yeah,
like
which of course people exaggerated
right.
and everything. But yeah, she did. She had that kind of, I don't know. I guess it must have been like a theater voice thing. I'm talking out of my ass here, but it might have been one of those things. Where
you can see the gears turning as she's doing the voice.
Exactly. But yeah, one that we're gonna have to discuss, and it's just, my God, I wish I had seen more. I'm a dick.
Well, again, we are not trying to create a definitive list here. If we end up deciding that her reputation and pure nominations get her up there, so be it. But this is what the three of us would put up there. And the three of us all have our own unique film watching history. That's why Sally Field came out of my mouth as early as she did. That sounded weird. Because I have a much more attachment to her and her work than I do somebody like Katharine.
Right.
Well, a lot of these, when we get into like acting performances, some of these movies are like acting showpieces and not necessarily the best movies. Like the stuff you were talking about with Meryl Streep, you're not going to throw in a movie besides maybe like a Daniel Day-Lewis type of situation just for a performance, So that's why we haven't seen some of these things.
Going on to Audrey Hepburn, so strange that the Audrey Hepburn and Katharine Hepburn not related.
Yeah, it's always bothered me.
After those, like I've not heard of the name Hepburn since these two were acting.
That's also a good point.
So, like, the fact that they're not related, there's something wrong. There's something going on
Definitely
there. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Do we know if it wasn't like just an early day, like Michael Keaton kind of situation where they didn't know enough?
I never thought about that. I didn't.
Or maybe
look
one
for that.
Change their name to piggyback on the other.
I guess that's a possibility. Anyway, Audrey Hepburn. Is she? I guess she's the model for that Pixie Dream Girl type of thing.
Especially from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah. Every role that she was in, she was always the darling, the sweetheart, but she commanded those movies that she's in.
Oh yeah. And then something like Wait Until Dark was very different. Mm-hmm. And in Funny Face, she's playing like kind of this. She's not necessarily the romantic interest of Fred Astaire until like later on. And I don't know, man. Like I think she's got a lot more variety to her performances than we give her credit for, because we think about Sabrina and we think about Breakfast at Tiffany's and things like that, where she's fitting this archetype basically.
She's in My Fair Lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that shows a good deal of range, because we find out by the end she could definitely play the elegant, school. But at the beginning, she's playing this super thick accent, uncouth, basic street urchin, basically. By the way, in case you forgot, like I did, that movie is 17 hours long.
Yeah.
Like, you remember the songs and a couple of scenes.
Is it really super long?
It's super long.
It's really long, but I think it's 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is a fairly long movie,
but enjoyable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Roman Holiday, where she and Cary Grant are together in that one, and that's a really good movie too.
There's a lot of Cary Grant overlap in these things. I've got one that'll come up later on.
But Hepburn was nominated 5 times. She won once for Roman Holiday.
See, that's the performance that I like. It's fine. But like, I would think that Breakfast at Tiffany's or even Sabrina or, some of the later day stuff that she would be nominated for that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Roman Holiday, from my remembrance of it, is kind of like a stock, pretty.
Yeah, kind of is.
For that time, like just kind of a regular ass Hollywood movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But even Audrey Hepburn, who I've seen more movies than Katharine Hepburn, I still feel like I'm just grossly deficient on some of these classic leading ladies and everything.
It's going to get worse for me as we go down the list. Like Audrey Hepburn, I feel pretty good about whether I could vote to add her or not based on how many of her movies I've seen. Not Katharine.
Yeah. By the way, Audrey Hepburn was born Audrey Kathleen Hepburn Ruston.
Oh yeah.
So she shortened it, obviously.
That's a lot of names.
She was some sort of diplomat's daughter or something like that, because she was born overseas. She was born in Europe.
Yeah, honestly, it says,
that sounds like a terrible movie.
Yeah, she was
diplomat's daughter.
She was born in Belgium. Her mother was a Dutch baroness, and a father
a baroness
in Bohemia.
But that's just a fancy nanny
of English and Austrian descent, and worked in business.
Isn't that what they call?
What do you do?
I work. I missed this. Who do we want to talk about
since we're still in the past? Ingrid Bergman.
Oh my God! See now, guys, for me, she's on the fucking list. She's on the She's on the Rushmore. She's on my phone. She's my. That's the picture that's on my phone. Is Ingrid Bergman.
Wow.
She's so fucking great.
Yes.
I mean, I went back and looked at a bunch of scenes, because I've seen a lot of her movies, but it was the 40s basically. It was her heyday, and of course Casablanca. But like the stuff that she did with Hitchcock was amazing, and that was when she ran into Cary Grant, and she's got like a really wide swath of her career. Really amazing.
Yeah. She had. I guess she was. I don't know, somewhat derailed back in the day with a scandal or whatever, like, because she married,
she was fooling around with the director.
It was, whatever, Rossellini is, because Isabella Rossellini is her daughter, but I don't think she was married. He was, though.
He was, and she messed around and got, like, effectively blackballed from America, which is so crazy to think about today,
Yeah. But
everybody's fucking their director these days.
And of course they are. Of all the classic actresses on this list, I've seen the most movies of Ingrid Bergman. I still haven't seen nearly enough, but 7 nominations, 3 wins. She won for Gaslight, which is a tremendous movie. I would recommend absolutely. She won for Anastasia, which I've never seen, And she's won for the Murder on the Orient Express, which was in the 70s.
Which is crazy because she's not in there for a lot, right?
She may not be, and it could be one of those things where they like just wanted to honor her again and all that, because most of her nominations come back in the 40s and everything. She wasn't even nominated for Casablanca.
That's
crazy.
Insane.
And like she wasn't nominated for the Hitchcock movies either, Notorious or Spellbound. Spellbound is great, by the way. But Ingrid Bergman always draws me in. Always draws me in, and I've watched even some like lesser Ingrid Bergman just to watch her.
Lesser Bergman.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like a lesser Babka.
That's
in
right.
Seinfeld.
She's like innocently seductive in a lot of her performances. You know, she's got, like this thing behind her eyes. Love it.
Yeah. I'm probably going to end up pitching her by the end of this, because I definitely think she deserves to be on there. Okay. Go into a modern actress like Nicole Kidman.
That's a sneaky good pick.
Yeah.
Because you think about Nicole Kidman and you think about the Tom Cruise stuff and you think about her most famous roles, but she's got, I mean, stuff like The Others, The Hours, the other hours,
the others.
But like, and of course, Eyes Wide Shut, she's terrific in. But like, she's got a lot more variety than you would think of.
Well, I think she's got a lot more clunkers than you think of.
Yeah, she does.
Like To Die For is really good.
That's not a clunker. I'm talking about Far and Away. I'm talking about
Days of Thunder.
No, she does for sure. She started off obviously like, well, it's funny. Dead Calm was like her first real like movie American audience saw, but then it was like, so I think she was sort of I don't know, she was on her own merit there for a bit, but then when she met Tom Cruise, Days of Thunder, and they became that couple, like everything was tied to Tom Cruise at that point, and it wasn't until To Die For that she really started to show that she was more than Tom Cruise's wife and everything after a long time anyway. I mean, she's obviously more than that. But then, she was, I mean, Moulin Rouge, The Hours, she had some pretty good picks there in that little period of time. But then, I don't know, something happened somewhere in that mid 2000s era where I think she just likes to do the work now. It's not about being in a big hit anymore. And she does a lot of really small stuff.
She does.
Lives right here in Nashville, and a lot of times takes projects that are close to here.
She has a tiny husband too.
Yep. Keith Urban.
She goes to Predators games.
I did see her in south of town. We ran into her and her husband, and I guess that's her thing because she obviously was with Tom Cruise, but this dude is short.
Really?
and she wasn't even like masking. She was wearing high heels. Her hair was up and everything. She looked like a behemoth.
You might have to cut this part because it might be inappropriate, but on the Emmys when she won for Big Little Lies, and she was like, "We shined a light on spousal abuse. We shined a light on spousal abuse." And I was just like, "Yeah, you did, but kind of taking credit for it in a way that kind of bums me."
Right. Like it's like the South Park where there's smug going across the country, and because so it starts off with a whole bunch of people like driving hybrid cars and everything, and going up to people who are not driving hybrid cars and saying, "Do you know that your gas guzzling engine is polluting the environment?" and blah 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 blah. A hybrid doesn't do that and all that, and they're like, "Just remember that for next time when you buy your next car." Thanks. And they just keep doing that thanks thing, and then they're like, there's this big thing where smug is building, and it's like going across the country and everything, and it ends up becoming out of control after George Clooney's Oscar speech because he talks about like this, we were the first to like talk about racial rights and stuff like that and all that, and Hollywood's the first ones to do it and blah blah blah. And they even show the smug going across, like it's like smog going across the country, and you can hear Clooney like echoing through the smog. But yeah, it's exactly what that's like. It's like, you can't take credit for that whole thing there.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm a dick. Who else?
Julianne Moore, who was also in the Hours.
You know, that would be the redhead I would have suggested first before Nicole Kidman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I have to segregate them by their hair color. Like I can only talk about one or two redheaded actresses. But she's had another one of those. This is one of the few actresses or actors that has won me over.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning the first few times I saw her and she started getting attention, I wasn't a very big fan. And she just did so much great work in so many good movies over the years that I've come around completely.
Oh yeah,
and I don't know what it was, but because Annie McDowell never had that come around at the end. I pretty much wasn't a fan of her all the way through.
Julianne Moore is excellent in everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything. It doesn't even matter what kind. If it's a small movie or what, she's always great in it. And that's what she's got, that consistency that we look for when we're looking for this type of thing. She's great in Boogie Nights, obviously. She's great in Magnolia, although that might be the one performance where I think her character is supposed to be over the top. She even says it, which kind of makes me go, you're just looking for a way to go over the top, aren't you? But Paul Thomas Anderson said, she was one take Julianne, basically just went in there and hammered that role.
Awesome.
And but she's always good. She's been nominated 5 times. She won for Still Alice last year.
Did you see that?
I haven't seen it. I've another one of those that I've got in the collection. But she's nominated for Boogie Nights, The End of the Affair, The Hours, Far From Heaven, and Still Alice, and she won for that.
But it's probably her unnominated performances that we remember more.
Yeah. Magnolia, The Big Lebowski, Safe, Children of Men.
Yeah.
Shortcuts, talking about naked, that's one thing that a lot of times people bring up, like, it's so interesting that she did that nude scene bottomless and not topless. That was like the people always bring that up, like that's important or something, but yeah, and she's also great in The Kids Are All Right, the movie with Annette Bening and everything, who is another one we'll have to end up talking about. But I think that Julianne Moore, even as far back as The Fugitive, where Tommy Lee Jones talks to her in the hallway or whatever, I knew that she was something special.
She's been around for a long time. How old is she?
Oh, she's about 50 or something.
Yeah. But it seems like she's just been around. Like, she's not old.
Yeah.
It seems like she's been around
not
forever. You're not old. I'm 37. I'm not old.
Looking her up real quick. She is
52.
56.
Oh. All right.
So she is old.
She's older than when I thought.
We're gonna end up doing so many microaggressions in this fucking thing.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because of the modern actress. I think Julianne Moore's got as good a chance as anybody. But I was thinking about Kate Winslet, who has an incredibly high OBP or winning percentage for me.
Yeah.
But she's only 41.
Yeah.
That was much younger than I thought she was.
Well, and it was only a few films before Titanic is where she got started, right? And Titanic is because she did that Peter Jackson movie.
Heavenly Creatures.
Yeah. And, that was nominated and the industry loved it, but the audiences didn't really see that movie. And it's weird, by the way.
Oh,
it's like there's early work of Peter Jackson is creepy as fuck. And then sow he made the Lord of the Rings.
Somehow
movies.
They said, "Here, have Lord of the Rings, have our multi-billion-dollar franchise."
Don't get it.
But yeah, Kate Winslet, 7 nominations, 1 win. I fell in love with her in Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah.
And then she has been nominated for that, Titanic, Iris, Eternal Sunshine, which is probably her best. I would say.
think so.
Little Children, which she's amazing in. She won for The Reader, a movie I'm not high on.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No, I wasn't high on The Reader, but she's really good at it.
She's great in it. It's surprising that she's only got 1 win, actually. Out of that you just listed off, like all of those performances are AA+.
Yeah. I just watched Revolutionary Road for the first time the other day. Well, I wish somebody had told me that movie was not going to have a happy ending. You know what I mean? Because it basically starts with what seems to be a very happy marriage and couple. Just slowly everything falls apart.
That's kind of her MO, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, with Little Children, same thing, right?
Yeah. Her last nomination was for Steve Jobs, which she's really good in that too.
She's got like a Polish accent in that.
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
And apparently it's like pitch perfect.
It's
too.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's it's one of those things where, Michael Fassbender is basically just ruling that movie. But every time she shows up, it's just breath of fresh air. Man. It's just, I don't know. She's great in that movie, and it's something it could be easy to forget that she's in.
Yeah,
but she's awesome in it, and it's Kate Winslet's a great one. But yeah, like I said, Sense and Sensibility was probably my favorite before she got famous with Titanic and everything like that. That's the one that I've seen Sense and Sensibility a ton. Yeah. And it's one of the few period pieces that I can watch constantly. And by the way, that brings up another director we didn't bring up was Ang Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Who probably should have at least been discussed on that director.
There's also another actress in Sense and Sensibility that we might need to talk about.
Right?
Emma Thompson.
Yeah.
Who's had a great long career, both when she was married to Kenneth Branagh for End of the Show and when she wasn't.
She is crisp. I mean, you can tell, like she's such a professional actress.
Yeah.
Like every time that she's in a performance, she's going to give you that you're going to get like the high ceiling. You know?
No, I think you're right. I think I'm speculating entirely, but the way she comes off on screen is that somebody who's just a pure pro in the background.
She's been nominated 4 times. She won for Howard's End.
That's it.
Yeah, she got nominated for In the Name of the Father, which Daniel Day-Lewis was in. Remains of the Day and Sense and Sensibility. She also got nominated for writing. I believe she won for writing, in fact, on Sense and Sensibility.
Really? Wow. She wasn't nominated for Much Ado About Nothing?
Nope.
I don't think that didn't get a whole lot of nominations in general.
No.
Which is that the one with Denzel?
It's the one with Denzel, who's great in that.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about that performance in the thing. He nailed the Shakespeare. I guess maybe the addition of Keanu.
Yeah, Keanu. You said we just can't nominate this with Keanu in it. Sorry.
Just out of principle, which I agree with. Actually,
sorry,
that's
Kenny.
one of the all-time worst performances I've ever seen.
Oh, it's the worst.
But Kenneth Branagh and Emma Thompson are fantastic in that movie.
Yeah, and Emma Thompson's awesome. And she's, I don't know. She's not in a lot of movies that you go back and look fondly on.
Right.
Now, she's in Stranger Than Fiction. She's great in that.
Yeah.
Love Actually. She's great in that.
Oh, yeah.
I read on our subreddit today the most amazing thing, and you guys have to check it out. This guy, I can't remember his name, but he has a fan theory that the Lego Movie is a stealth sequel to Stranger Than Fiction.
Ooh.
And in Stranger Than Fiction, Will Ferrell's character had to learn who he was and how to love, and the natural progression would be for him to then learn how to be a father. And in Lego Movie, he has things, he wants everything a certain way, kind of meticulous, and he works for the IRS in Stranger Than Fiction, so maybe his kid would think that's business, he's Lord Business. Or what have. And I just love that idea. There's a couple great comments, too.
I love it when these people come out with these like amazing theories like that, because they're probably not true,
right.
but the fact that there's even a gleam of possibility that it is
exactly
is amazing. She also in Primary Colors, and basically does a great Hillary Clinton.
She does.
So yeah, she's great, and she's also in a movie that very few people have seen called The Tall Guy with Jeff Goldblum.
I've seen it.
And it's got the weirdest sex scene ever made. In it.
I haven't seen that. What's the sex scene?
It's basically just like Jeff Goldblum and Emma Thompson start making out, and then there's like stuff involving a piano and like they're you can see their feet on the piano, and then they're just kind of bobbing up and down, and it's just like, it's all sorts of like, just different weird angles for the sex scene. Like, what are they actually doing? But yeah, Emma Thompsons great.
Yeah. All right. Who's next?
How about Kate Blanchett?
Another modern actress who's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched Talented Mr. Ripley yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And she gets probably the most thankless role in the whole film.
Definitely.
She doesn't really have a ton to do except pine.
Yeah.
But, man, the movie's so good.
Kate Blanchett, I think, is a modern master.
She is.
She's insanely good.
Yeah.
Every time I see her. 7 nominations, 2 wins.
Wow.
She got nominated for Elizabeth, which I think was everybody's first real foray into Kate Blanchett, basically. She's excellent in that. She won for The Aviator playing Katharine Hepburn.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
She got nominated for Notes on a Scandal, a movie I've seen. I don't remember much about. I know she and Judi Dench are in it. I'm Not There, where she plays Bob Dylan.
Yep.
She's the best part about that movie.
She is definitely
far
the best part. She somehow got nominated for Elizabeth the Golden Age, a movie that nobody liked, and then one for Blue Jasmine, which is her best of all time probably. And then she got nominated for Carol, which she's also great in.
Oh yeah.
But that didn't even include Lord of the Rings,
right?
And The Gift. There's a lot of
I love The Gift.
Yeah, I mean she's great in everything, even stuff like Pushing 10.
Yeah,
Like that.
Well, I was going to say Bandits, where she shows a comedic side. That movie's surprisingly watchable for as average as it is.
Huh.
I don't know. There's
Wasn't
something
that
about
Billy Bob Thornton too,
and Bruce Willis. Yeah,
I think I've heard that from a couple of people. Like Bandits is one of those kind of movies.
Yeah. It is. I've seen it a few times. But anyway, she's really loopy and goofy in that movie and kind of spacey. Not Kevin Spacey.
Right.
But yeah, I like her range, and she's got a great body of work. The nominations, that's surprising to me because, again, she's not an old woman. Mm-hmm. She's in her 50s too, probably, I would guess.
I don't think she's that old.
Well, Blanchett, she is 48.
Oh, yeah.
Blanchett is kind of like how Streep is at this point, where if she's in something and she's good, she's probably going to get nominated. And she's never, I don't think she's ever turned in a performance where I think she's phoning it in. But sometimes you look at Meryl Streep's nominations, you're like, she got nominated for that. Music of the Heart, really? It's getting to that point with Cate Blanchett at times, although she hasn't been in a lot lately. Carol was the last one that I remember her being in, but like, if she's in any way decent, she's going to get nominated. She's going to be like that, when 20 years down the road, she might even have 15 nominations.
I think you're going to see Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone go down the same path, where if we were having this discussion in 20 years, I think they would probably both be in the conversation because they both have talent out the butt. They both have great directors they've worked with. They're both ambitious acting-wise, really likable personalities. But they're not in this conversation today. Too soon.
Yeah. And I mean, I think of the modern actresses, I think she's out there with maybe Julianne Moore with a good enough resume.
Yeah.
That she could be considered.
Absolutely.
I've got possibly what I just love every performance that she's in. Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
And she's got a surprising resume too, because she was in What's Love Got to Do with It, of course. I think she was nominated for that.
She was.
She was in Malcolm X. She's in Boys in the Hood, Waiting to Exhale, obviously. And then she's in, things like How Still I Got Her Groove Back and like Chirac and stuff like that. But she's great in all of those things. She turned in this epic performance in Master of None in the last season.
That's one of
the best episode.
Highlights of the whole season.
Yeah, man. She's so powerful on screen.
I was watching the score the other day, which I don't know if you guys have gotten around to yet. I
still haven't seen that.
But I was thinking, man, I never realized this before. It's got 4 of the heavy-hittingest actors of all time. Brando, De Niro, Angela Bassett, and Ed Norton.
Yep.
That is a hella good cast. Yep. And again, very watchable movie. Nothing really super inventive, but good stuff. And she's really subdued in that. She's not really like, rawr, or anything. I don't know why I did that. Like she's a cat.
Well, she's in Black Panther.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Just every time she comes in as some sort of government official or whatever, you're like, God damn, I better keep myself straight here, man, because she commands that stuff, like in Contact, even like where she's in it for only a couple of scenes, but like she comes out with a rewarding kind of a role by the end of it and everything.
You know where I could get a really great dress?
What's Love Got to Do with It is
unbelievable.
It's her only nomination, but man, is she incredible in it. She and Lawrence Fishburne. That's just one of those that's one you don't just pop in either.
Yeah. No. Eat the cake, Annie Mae.
Going to take some dark turns there, folks.
Absolutely. But yeah, she's great. She's great in everything. The problem with her is I don't think they ever tried to make her a star, and they should have, because she's always excellent in everything that she does. But
she's doing a lot of TV because she did. She was in these American Horror Stories. She's in a couple of those, I think, and she's great. But I guess it'd be nice to see her in more features.
Yeah. Okay, let's go with Angelina Jolie. I don't think she has a chance, but talk about her for a second.
What's her grand slam? Her grand slam is Girl Interrupted.
Girl Interrupted. That's the win that she has, but she's got probably more than you think.
Changeling, I guess.
Changeling, she's excellent in. And she might be more suited to a movie star type of discussion. She's way younger than you think she is, too.
She's 37.
Yeah, she's 42. She's been around forever, though. She did get nominated for Changeling as well, but I don't know. I think she's always good in everything she's in. It's just very few that I don't know where she's just outstanding. She's going to get to that Julianne Moore
pushing 10
level. Yeah, pushing 10.
Well, and she's got some real stinkers though. Hackers, 2 Tomb Raider movies, that original Sin movie that I hate with a seething fire.
Yep.
Salt, X versus. Oh wait. Well, she's in that McAvoy assassin movie.
Oh, Wanted.
Wanted.
Curbing the Bullets.
Yeah.
So Meryl Streep doesn't have anything like that on her resume.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I'm saying.
When Meryl Streep does Populous, she does The River Wild, which is a really
or
enjoyable
that Julia
movie.
Childs thing.
Yeah, which is also a really enjoyable movie.
Yeah. So I agree that you brought her up for good reason and she should be in the discussion, but I don't think she's got a shot.
No, I don't think she does either. I just wanted to bring her up because, I mean, she has been nominated twice. She's won once. And she probably has a little bit better of a resume than you think, but she does have a lot of bad ones, and that's the problem with her ultimately.
Yeah. She might be the youngest person we actually throw in the discussion, though, eh?
I don't know. I was thinking about possibly putting Natalie Portman in there.
She's got a couple nominations and wins, right?
Portman's got 3 nominations, and she won once for Black Swan. She got nominated for Closer. She won for Black Swan, and she got nominated for Jackie, which I think Jackie is her best performance she's ever done.
But she was great when she showed up from the professional and even
V for Vendetta.
Yeah, but before that, Beautiful Girls,
yeah,
where they even write the character to have an old soul because Natalie Portman herself has such an old soul.
Yeah.
She was playing so much more mature than she should. And she does a couple of forgettable movies there, like Where the Heart Is.
Yeah,
the one where she's given birth in Walmart.
Anywhere But Here.
Yeah. But she's fantastic. She's another one of those that I think in 20 years was probably a slam dunk on this thing. And I don't feel like she ever phones it in.
No, I mean, even in the movie Closer, she's up against like heavy hitters.
Yeah.
I mean, Clive Owen in his prime, Julia Roberts, Jude Law. And yes, she does a lot of crying in that movie, but she plays a very complex character in that.
It kills me, though, how we hang up on the way people are, in certain movies or whatever. They do a lot of shouting. They do a lot of, I've never really noticed that until somebody brings it up and you're like, oh, yeah, he kind of does do a lot of shouting in his movies. But doesn't everybody, like anybody who's done a great performance has probably had to shout at some point. But yeah, the crying is it bad crying? Would you say
it's
bad?
great crying.
Yeah, I mean,
she's put through the emotional fucking ringer. She is the most shit upon character in that movie.
And one of the few, I mean, she's also in Heat, but you only get to see her for a couple of scenes,
right?
But
because she's Pacino's daughter.
She's
right?
Pacino's daughter.
Yeah,
but stepdaughter, and like she's obviously looking for attention or whatever, and the movie detours to look at her character a couple of times, but she's not in. So many people in it, and she's one of them.
Right? Yeah,
you gotta forget.
There's people.
Yeah,
and she's one.
Exactly. I wanted to bring up an actress that I came across that I don't think I've heard the name, and I am sorely deficient on it. But she's been nominated 8 times, and she's won once, and her name is Geraldine Page.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
How far back do you go for that?
I don't know how far back she goes, actually.
Because I don't know that I even feel like that's a familiar name to me.
Mm-mm.
So I'm thinking it has to be like the 30s or the 40s.
She was
like last year.
She was born in 1924. Her movies, she starts in the 50s. And Hondo is the only movie that I can say that I've probably seen that she's in, and she got nominated for that. But then I looked through this list. This is the movie she's been nominated for. I don't think I've heard of a single one of them.
Oh wow.
Summer and Smoke, Sweet Bird of Youth. You're a bird. You're a big boy now. You're a bird boy now. Pete and Tilly. Oh, Interiors. I did see Interiors.
yeah.
That's Woody Allen's
Allen?
drama movie. The Pope of Greenwich Village, which I have seen. I mean, no, I haven't seen it. I've heard of it. And then she won for The Trip to Bountiful. Anyway,
I've seen that.
Have you seen that?
Well, because I did that play in college, and so part of my homework was to watch. I think there's 2 movie versions of it.
Oh yeah.
What year is the Trip to Bountiful?
It's probably the 80s. Because,
Okay, then that's the one I watched.
Because it's right after Pope of Greenwich Village that she got nominated.
She's great in
it. 85.
I think it's John Hurd that's in that with her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring her up
Mm-hmm.
just to bring her up, but I can't say anything about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a lovely name.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the older actors that we didn't really know much about. I mean, things like John Wayne. We hadn't seen a lot of John Wayne movies, but that's just the way it is.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
If we're going back a ways, what do we think? I would compare this woman to her generation's Angelina Jolie, Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
I love Elizabeth Taylor. I think she doesn't get enough credit. I think
she doesn't.
She was terrific in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Cleopatra.
Yeah.
It is long as fuck.
Yeah.
But it's really, really enjoyable. So, I mean, just based on those alone, I think she's been nominated a couple other times, right?
5 times total.
Nice.
She's won twice. And I think for our generation, we knew Elizabeth Taylor as that chick that got married 7 times, basically.
Yep.
That's what was going, that was all she was known for in the 80s, was like getting married and divorced and all that. And who knows, that might have happened before the 80s too, but that's all we ever heard about her.
Yeah.
But when you go and look at stuff like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Oh, yeah.
And you look at, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof and everything, you realize what a great actress she was.
Yeah. I mean, her and Paul Newman up against each other for the majority of that movie, I think, is really, really impressive. And we were talking about his performance, Paul Newman's performance last week, and she holds up every bit as good as he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's also in Giant, and she's in A Place in the Sun. It's funny. She plays real sweet roles back then, and then she goes into these like really dark and she's terrifying in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. She's she's just I don't know. She cuts to the bone in that. But yeah, I agree. I think she's underrated at this point in time. We don't hear much about her. And she was great.
I think in this environment, if she were, acting in the current day, I think she would be probably overshadowed by all the tabloid stuff. But I think people would recognize how talented she is.
Yeah.
From an acting perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Circle back around to Annette Bening. Another one who's generally excellent every time out.
Yep.
4 nominations, no wins for Annette Bening. Lost twice to Hilary Swank.
Son of a bitch.
To the next Karate Kid. She's lost 2 Oscars.
Well, Hilary Swank was pretty good in the movie
she was fantastic in Boys Don't Cry and $1 Million Baby. But Annette Bening has lost to her twice. 4 nominations. The Grifters.
Very good.
Yep.
I love that movie, by the way.
Yeah. No, it's a great movie. American Beauty. Being Julia, and the kids are all right. And it's an acting tour de force throughout that whole movie. Her, Mark Ruffalo, Julianne Moore, all of them are really good. Doesn't include Bugsy or The American President, but she's also in a lot of movies that you probably haven't seen. That's the thing about her.
Yep.
She generally does go more towards the art of the acting and everything, more than going for the big blockbuster and everything. When she does go for the big blockbuster, a lot of times it's not very good. Like she was in the Women movie that wasn't.
Oh yeah, isn't she in The Siege with Bruce Willis?
She is in The Siege.
That's a forgettable movie.
She pops up in those every once in a while, but they're usually not very good. But out of that group, I don't know which one would be my favorite. The nominations, I don't know which one's my favorite. American Beauty, probably.
Yeah, American Beauty, because I brought up that scene, of course, when she's getting ready for the open house and everything. She freaks out and starts slapping herself and everything.
Yeah.
What's funny is when I watched that the other day, like she has another freak out scene when she's driving back in the rain, when she's trying to psych herself up, I guess to kill Kevin Spacey if he weren't already dead. Is that the impression that you get? Because she reaches for the gun. But like she has this other like psych up moment, which is every bit as powerful as that other one.
Yeah.
She's great in that movie.
Oh yeah, she's fantastic. But the only thing maybe against Benning is just the fact that she has so few overall like roles that we know. I know that she's probably like if we went back and looked at a whole bunch of these smaller movies that she's in, we'd probably elevate her a little bit more, but I haven't seen nearly as many as I probably should.
Speaking of the grifters, what do you think about Angelica Houston?
Oh yeah, that's one I didn't even consider before we went into this whole thing.
She was a little bit before our time. Like I feel like her popularity, because she was married to Jack Nicholson, right?
Either she was married or they at least dated.
Yeah,
that's the reason why in Chinatown when it's John Huston, he plays Noah Cross. There's the scene where he goes, "Are you sleeping with my daughter?" And
Angelica Houston.
And at the time, Jack Nicholson was sleeping with Angelica Houston.
That's funny.
But it's in the movie. It's Faye Dunaway, which is another one we're gonna have to talk about.
We're gonna run out of time.
We are. Angelica Houston. I mean, the Addams Family.
Yeah.
That's my best.
Wasn't she nominated a few times though?
She's been nominated 3 times. She won for Prizzi's Honor.
Oh, okay.
She did with Jack Nicholson. She got nominated for Enemies: A Love Story and then The Grifters.
Okay.
But
She's so good in that.
it's just one of those that the Royal Tannenbaum. She's really good in.
Yeah.
She's good in the Wes Anderson movies. I think she's in Life Aquatic as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about Angelica Houston really. Jodie Foster.
Oh yeah,
that's another one that was pretty awesome and pretty lauded from like childhood on. She's got to be considered. I think, especially of all the modern women. Got a little bit of a recency bias problem with that whole Elysium thing because that accent was so fucked
that's
up.
The thing. She like her latter day stuff. I mean, she's either really I don't know. I want to say that she's choosy about a lot of stuff, but she's not really. She's working, but it's never like really high profile type.
The last
of stuff.
thing that she was really great in, because I thought she was really really good in Panic Room, and of course she was terrific in Inside Man. And then working backwards, I mean that just alone, that's like 2006's Inside Man. Right?
Actually, you know what? Her last movie was Elysium, so she. I mean. She's got 78 credits, but I think most of that was in the 70s and 80s.
You would think so, yeah.
So yeah, she actually doesn't work as much as she used to, but she used to come out with a movie almost every year. She's been nominated 4 times. She got nominated for Taxi Driver. She won for The Accused. She won for Silence of the Lambs, and then she got nominated for Nell, where she's really good in that too, even though the movie's not.
Tay in the wind.
Tay in the wind.
Man, I just from what you just rattled off, because I'd forgotten about fucking Silence of the Lambs. Like when you think about Jodie Foster, I think about Taxi Driver, I think about The Accused, and I think about Contact, and then the later day stuff, The Inside Man and Panic Room. And yeah, I mean, she's had a huge impact, and all of those roles are very, very different. Nell, obviously, all of those roles are incredibly different. So I think she's got a really, really good case of being up there.
She does. It's strange because not a lot of nominations, but another one that she's just so excellent that you may have to. Sort of have to do that Daniel Day-Lewis type of thing where. Day-Lewis wasn't in a lot of stuff, but she's, I mean, always really good in everything she's in. But I don't know if I. It's funny because Julianne Moore doesn't do nearly as good a Clarice Starling as she does. But
do we know why she didn't come back for Hannibal?
No, I don't.
I think she was. I think she wanted to start directing. I think that's still her focus, more than the acting. But I don't know if that's it or not. Maybe it's just been money. It is a little bit weird that Hannibal's the same.
It is, and I agree.
Julianne
Moore's fine in that movie, but she's a lot more damsel in distress.
She's totally damsel in distress
than Clarice Starling was, who would just fucking go to. You know what? That's a fucking amazing performance. It is Clarice Starling in Silence of the Lambs because she has to. This is a singular performance from Anthony Hopkins. This is what he is known for.
Yeah,
and he is so intimidating. I don't know what they did to break the tension on set, or whether they just kept it going the whole time. But both scenes with him in the cell staring right at her soul, and she is acting the fuck right back to him.
Yeah, she's
That's
great.
a great performance.
Yeah.
It is. No lie.
Definitely we'll have to consider her at the end, even though I think that over the last 15 years or so, there's not very many performances where we can look at. I mean, yeah, Panic Room is solid.
Mm-hmm.
And even stuff like Flight Plan is solid. I mean, the movie itself, what you can take or leave it, but she's always really good. The Brave one is another one.
Is that the Death Wish one?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Brave one's another one where she's really good. The movie.
By the way, Chris and I went to see it in the same theater, and at the time we were the only people in the theater, which was crazy. And then we saw this trailer for this Bruce Willis movie where he's like, he gets pissed off and he wants to take the law into his own hands and everything, and goes around and starts killing people. And we were talking, I was like, man, is this like, the new Death Wish, or like, it's basically just Death Wish all over again. It's fucking Death Wish.
Yeah,
it's a remake.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
It's like,
I was
because
just
they keep
shocked.
doing this, with it was Jodie Foster that did it, and then there was somebody else that had a Death Wish type of thing fairly recently. Kevin Bacon did one, I thought.
Oh, well, Death Sentence might be what you're talking about.
And then so they just said, "Fuck it, we're just going to redo the actual thing."
Okay, we probably should just start rattling through a few here.
Yeah.
Bette Davis, 11 nominations, 2 wins. Another person I am deficient on, unfortunately.
These are older movies, man.
Yeah, but a lot of the like Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart I've seen a million of. Is it because I don't like women?
I think so.
I think that's what it is. Bette Davis won for movies I've never heard of, Dangerous and Jezebel. Then the ones that I know her for, like All About Eve and What Happened to Baby Jane. I don't really know much other movies that she, I don't really know them. But it's someone you have to talk about in this whole thing. I just don't think in this room we know enough about Bette Davis. And this might, like I said, I feel like when we're going through these classic actresses, I'm like, God damn, we're just giving them short shrift, aren't we? Jane Fonda's another one. 7 nominations, 2 wins.
By the way, that is the second short shrift usage. I'm going to put a cap on short shrifting the rest of the episode.
All right.
We can go back to Gravitas, though, because shit, I just used one. Sorry.
Okay. 7 nominations, 2 wins. She won for Clute and she won for Coming Home. A lot of the movies that she's nominated for, I haven't seen.
She was really good in Monster-in-Law.
Yes, Monster-in-Law. Jesus Christ.
That was J-Lo?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Like the last performance I saw her in that I respected the work was in Newsroom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But another one that we're unfortunately not going to have much to say about. Then there's Amy Adams.
Wow. Well, I would say give it another 5 years.
I would, to get the stink of Batman versus Superman off of her.
No, she's okay, and even in those movies, it's just I just think her career has not lasted long enough. She's certainly great in everything that I've ever seen her in.
Well, and I haven't seen her truly transform yet either. Like she has. I mean, when she's good, she's great, but I don't know if I've ever seen her play like drastically different characters. The Master might be closest to that because she's so mean in that.
Oh,
and
she's
everything.
amazing.
It's strange. Like, yeah, she got 5 nominations. She got nominated for Junebug, which is good. It's a good movie. Doubt, of course. The Fighter, The Master, and American Hustle are her nominations. She's also in Catch Me If You Can, Enchanted, Arrival, Nocturnal Animals is another one. That's a different role and different movie for her. She's also in Her, The Muppets, Charlie Wilson's War, Talladega Nights. She's funny in that.
Yeah.
That was one of her first ones, right?
Yeah,
That and Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, Catch Me If You Can. We're right around there.
See, that's all I'm thinking is that Catch Me If You Can still feels so recent. That it's gonna. I think it'd be hard for me to vote for her to be up there over some people who've had a longer body of work. But she's definitely on the track to be, another Meryl Streep type.
Yep.
Like I said, we're just rattling now. Judi Dench, 7 nominations, 1 win.
Good Lord.
1 for Shakespeare in Love. Nominated.
Bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. She was in it for like 2
That
seconds.
is such a bullshit win, man. I mean, it's not even that she's in there for 2 seconds. She's perfectly fine, but there's nothing outstanding about that role besides that she's just like she carries herself well.
It's like nominating Sean Connery for showing up at the end of Prince of Thieves.
Yes.
She's nominated for a lot of stuff like Mrs. Brown and Chocolat and Iris and Mrs. Henderson Presents and Notes on a Scandal.
She was nominated for Chocolat?
Yeah.
I mean, fuck.
Yeah, it was a time there. Judi Dench was like your Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
It was everything she was in, you'd have to nominate her for.
It's all I think it's because she got Dame in front of her name. They're intimidated by the British royalty sirring and daming.
Well, she is a dame.
Same goes for Maggie Smith. 6 nominations, 2 wins.
Wow.
And she's won for movies I've never seen. The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie and California Suite are the ones that she's won for. She got last nominated for Gosford Park. She may be best known for Harry Potter these days. Another great British actor we don't know probably enough about to say she's good, deserves to be on Rushmore or whatever. Vanessa Redgrave, who is somebody I always hear about.
Yeah.
Another one where all of her best work, don't really know it. 6 nominations, 2 wins. 6 nominations, 1 win. She won for a movie called Julia. Her last nomination was Howard's End. And I haven't seen nearly enough Vanessa Redgrave to really say. I mean, I saw her in Blow Up.
She's in Mission Impossible, right?
Yep.
That's where I think I know her best.
Basically
from.
a cameo in Mission Impossible.
She was nominated.
Yeah, she should have probably should have been nominated. Everybody was on the Helen Mirren bandwagon after The Queen, and so now she's in everything. Like she picked some shitty movies now.
Red 2.
Oh my God, Fate of the Furious. She's in National Treasure 2.
Oh yeah. Oh God, fuck that movie.
She got nominated 4 times. She has 1 win. She got nominated for The Madness of King George, Gosford Park, The Queen. She won, and then The Last Station.
I think there are more British actors in Gosford Park than there are in the Harry Potter series.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Probably so. And Ryan Phillippe.
I think you're right.
Is he in Gosford Park?
I think he's in Gosford Park. Isn't he in Gosford Park?
Weird.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
It's a weird
It's a bunch of British people.
He plays an American coming over or something like that. Faye Dunaway, 3 nominations, 1 win, but she has a real tight like 70s period of work. And that's
and then
about
she dropped off.
She nominated for Bonnie and Clyde, Chinatown, and she won for Network. But then after that, I mean, really, people may know her best for Mommy Dearest.
Yeah, but that's a pretty intense period.
There's some really good ones there.
Oh, man.
Chinatown was on the other day.
That's amazing.
I was sitting there watching it, just transfixed.
Yep.
I had other stuff to do, but I couldn't turn myself away from it.
She kind of cameos a little bit in the Thomas Crown Affair remake because she was in the original, and she plays Thomas Crown's therapist in the remake with Pierce Brosnan.
She's also in 3 Days of the Condor.
Wow.
Then there is...
That sounded like Owen Wilson right there.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
Then there's Marilyn Monroe, who's probably more for movie star discussion and everything, but a movie of hers came on. I think it's called Let's Make Love. It was what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Subtle.
Yeah, exactly. Back in 1960. God damn, I love some Marilyn Monroe.
She's great.
I always wonder though, like obviously you first are, just like, oh, Marilyn Monroe's eye candy. And then you try to figure out, is she good in these things? In that movie, she was good. She was really playing up. She's like a musical, she's like dancing around and all this other type of stuff. But she was really good in that.
She had such a weird delivery. Like in 7 Year Itch, like in 7 Year Itch in particular, she was so like stream of consciousness. It was like, if you took Audrey Hepburn and put her in that role, there would be like something grounded. Mm-hmm. But Marilyn Monroe in that role just went like a deflated balloon, And
in Some Like It Hot, she got the reputation for being super difficult, like asking for extra retakes of a lot of like just I guess random scenes and everything like that. She got that reputation. Of course, she was dealing with a lot of demons there.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought I should bring her up. Vivian Leigh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, Vivian Leigh, unfortunately, of all the people here, really did have. We know for sure she had bipolar disorder.
Yeah, interesting story.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, because she really fell apart towards the end of her career. I think she had tuberculosis too.
Oh yeah,
which ended up ending her life. But like she she got that reputation for being difficult to work with, when in reality, apparently it was a lot of her bipolar disorder manifesting itself. But she was in some classics, man. Obviously, Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. Well, the thing is there's 2 movies I knew her for, and those are the 2 she got nominated and won Oscars for, and the other ones I wasn't really strong on. And if she's in some other like big time classics, I didn't run across it on my first look. But she was also married to Laurence Olivier.
Yeah.
But 2 nominations, 2 wins, Gone with the Wind and Streetcar Named Desire.
Amazing.
A lot of times people forget she's in that with Marlon Brando going around just owning it.
Yeah.
But she's great in that.
Now, she's Blanche Dubois, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she's got a really difficult job. Like, that's what?
I can't ever talk about this movie without thinking about that Simpsons
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
Stanley, stop or I'll tell Stella.
New Orleans.
I've never even seen the movie all the way through, the original, but I've seen that Simpsons episode like 90 times.
Yeah, she's a troubled individual in that movie.
Yeah. Julie Andrews is another one that I came across. 3 nominations, 1 win. Iconic Mary Poppins role. She won the Oscar for that. Obviously iconic The Sound of Music. And she's also in Victor and Victoria. But then after that, I couldn't really recognize very many movies I had seen her in, except for like Princess Diaries and shit like that. And of course, she was the voice of the Queen and Shrek, the Shrek sequels.
Oh, yeah.
She's also not dead, as I recently learned.
Also not dead.
I'm not quite dead.
Only mostly.
Julie Christie's a legend to a lot of people. She's nominated 4 times, 1 for Darling, and then she's nominated for McCabe and Mrs. Miller, Afterglow, and Away from Her. I've seen those last 2, Afterglow and Away from Her. She's really good in Away from Her. But I don't know enough about Julie Christie as well. Julia Roberts, another movie star discussion, probably. 4 nominations, 1 win, though, as far as acting is concerned.
But she won for Erin Brockovich, didn't she?
She did.
What a shame.
She was great in that.
She's not terrible. It's just I'm not high on that movie.
Yeah.
It's hard for any legal drama, a civil action, anything about a class action lawsuit against an evil corporation is going to be a hard sell.
Not to mention that the whole like happy ending and everything is kind of bullshit because none of those people got the money.
Right.
When I don't want to laugh at people's misery, but
but we're going
to laugh at their misery. No, I'm just laughing at the just way Hollywood is, where it's we got to have this feel good story. We can't really tell them that the law firm really took all the money in the end, but
But that's how most class action suits end up going. Right?
Yeah,
they get thousands of claimants or what have you. They're all going to get $2, but the law firm takes their fee off first, off the big chunk.
Yep.
That's why I don't ever join class action suits. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? I've done everything you asked this whole time, and I never once said, what's in it for me? What are you saying? I'm saying, what's in it for me? A little bit of Field of Dreams for you there.
Nice.
Susan Sarandon. 5 nominations, 1 win. Atlantic City, Thelma and Louise, Lorenzo's Oil, The Client, and Dead Man Walking is the one that she won for.
Yeah, she's great in that too.
Yeah, she's absolutely fantastic in that. My favorite role of hers is in Bull Durham.
Yeah.
That is just a down to earth, just great flesh and blood woman right there, man. And Susan Sarandon plays that perfectly. Susan Sarandon is definitely worth mentioning. Don't know. She's one of those right now that's like in everything. I wouldn't be surprised if she has like 150 credits on it.
She's getting a little liberal with the choices.
Is there anybody else that we haven't said?
I got one name on my mind that I don't know is worth talking about too much. Diane Keaton.
Yep. It's on the list here. 4 nominations, 1 win.
Yeah. And
what's the 1 win for?
Annie Hall. Iconic role.
It is. And she's pretty good in the Godfather movie.
Yes, she is.
She is, although she's sort of swept aside.
Yeah.
Let the men do the talking.
Yeah, but in Godfather Part 2, she's got
No, she does got an expanded role in Godfather 2.
And it was an abortion, Michael. It was an abortion.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that scene is electric.
I know.
It sure is.
I love Diane Keaton to pieces. I don't know if there's very many movies, though, that she's in that I like her in anymore, because she's in a lot of these, like Something's Gotta Give and The Family Stone, and
she's naked in one of those movies.
Something's Gotta Give, I believe, is the movie.
At least shadow naked.
Yeah, it was shadow naked. I don't know if she's been in enough, really. But she's worth mentioning because she does have that iconic Annie Hall role, and she's great in most everything she's in.
Well, I feel terrible because I think I've mentioned nudity like 3 times already today, and I'm going to transition from nudity to nudity and talk about Kathy Bates for just a second.
Yeah.
Who's also surprisingly naked late in her career in a movie about Schmidt. She's had several iconic roles, too. I'm not sure she got started young enough to have the full body of work of some of these other people, because I think Misery is where she first kind of really hit the scene.
That's where we first really saw her, I think.
But it's almost like you were talking about earlier. She's a professional. Like she's gonna, you hire her, you're gonna get good work. Like even in Primary Colors, she's fantastic.
I love
in that movie.
her in Primary Colors.
And I just want
she's really good in Titanic too.
Yeah, she is. She's probably the best
Unsinkable
performance
Molly
in that
Brown.
movie. Yeah. So I just thought I'd throw her out too. I don't know if she's got a chance.
She got nominated 3 times, 1 for Misery. She's great in Misery.
Oh yeah,
creepy as hell.
Oh yeah. Another one is Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I think. I think she would qualify certainly for the movie star one, but I think she's a sneaky candidate for actressing too.
Yeah. Although, there's not very many Sigourney Weaver performances that just she's not in very many like great movies, so we haven't seen a lot of great Sigourney Weaver. Like obviously Aliens, Ghostbusters, we know those by heart. Then you have to kind of think a little bit and go, oh yeah, she was in Working Girl, she was in Gorillas in the Mist. Those were their nominations: Aliens, Gorillas in the Mist, and Working Girl. Man, she is in a lot of like really good movies, though. I mean, but she's in a lot of bad ones too. But she's in The Cabin in the Woods, Monster Calls, which took Aaron's suggestion to watch that movie, and Aaron Dicer's.
Yeah, was it good?
Yeah, it's very good.
Awesome.
Obviously, she's in Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
And in The Ice Storm, she's incredible in that.
Yeah.
And again, bringing up Ang Lee again, we should have brought
She's
up.
even great in stuff like Dave.
Yeah, Dave
as the president's wife.
Yep.
Like I think she's a sneaky dark horse here. Both because she's been great in a lot of different roles, comedy all the way to drama to action. She's got iconic status, which may push her more towards this, the movie star conversation, if you will. Still working today, probably going to be in all these Avatar sequels that just started shooting.
Yeah, in fact, that I looked at her IMDb last night, and that's what it pretty much shows is her next productions or Avatars 2 through 5 or whatever.
Awesome.
But when they did the first run of Planet Earth, and the British folk got David Attenborough, we got Sigourney Weaver here in the States. And in Finding Dory, she's the voice of the aquarium place. Like I think Hollywood and movie fans have come to give her the same kind of iconic respect that we do somebody like Meryl Streep or something. I think she classes up a project when you cast her.
Yeah. Even when she's in something like Chappie, you're like, oh, I like me some Sigourney Weaver, man.
I forgot she was in Chappie.
Yeah.
All I remember about Chappie is D. Antwoord. That's all I remember.
Yep. There's only a few more names I want to name, and then I think we can go and start putting these on.
That itself is going to take forever too.
Yeah, Viola Davis, 3 nominations, 1 win. She obviously got nominated for Doubt as well.
If you were in Doubt, you got nominated.
In fact, yes. And she was nominated for The Help, and she won for her absolutely amazing performance in Fences.
Yeah, actually, I think De Niro got nominated for Doubt. And he was not even in the movie.
Yeah, she's not even in the movie.
Yeah.
You just got like a Contact Oscar nomination.
That scene in Doubt, though, the one that she got nominated for is a Hall of Fame acting performance, and it's written very well so that you don't exactly see what's coming in her reaction to what Meryl Streep's telling her, but she plays it. There's just depth of pain in her eyes, and anyway, yeah, that's where she really kind of shined for me. I'm glad she won for that, even if the screen time was small. But she's in The Help. Right?
Yep.
A movie my wife watches every single time it's on. Every single time. She loves her.
Now,
she's great.
Now, she didn't win for Doubt. She got nominated.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
she won for Fences.
Oh, okay.
And in Fences, I I was ready to give her the Oscar right then and there in the theater. That's how good she was.
Reached through the screen.
After I got done with the movie, I was like, who the fuck's going to beat that? Nobody can beat that. The other ones are, and these are, again, more movie stars, but Joan Crawford, who's somebody I don't know enough about, but 3 nominations, 1 win. Joan Crawford's another one. And then Lauren Bacall, of all the movie stars that I looked at, I was shocked to learn that she's only been nominated 1 time in her life, and it was The Mirror Has Two Faces.
Oh, interesting.
The Barbara Streisand movie. I forgot who she lost to in that, but everybody thought that she might win because it was her only nomination out of all, big long career and everything.
And she was also in Murder on the Orient Express. Murder on the Orient Express.
But the ones that I've seen her in, well, actually, maybe the only one I've seen her in after that is The Big Sleep. It's another Humphrey Bogart.
Oh yeah.
But
I guess because you mentioned her, I mean, Barbara Streisand should probably be mentioned here.
We mentioned her earlier.
Yeah,
we brushed her aside.
But between, so Funny Girl, she co-won with that. She was in, what was it, Prince of Tides? She's done, she's in A Star Is Born. Like, she's done iconic stuff. She's got an EGOT. And I think even more stuff than that. Like, she's
EGOT?
Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
She's got all of those?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So, let's see. Barbara Streisand nominated twice as an actress. She won for Funny Girl. That was the Katharine Hepburn tie. And she was nominated for The Way We Were.
Oh, yeah.
Her other Oscar nominations are for other things. Her original song in Star Is Born, the song Evergreen. She was nominated for Best Picture, like as a producer for The Prince of Tides. I believe there was a lot of hubbub about her not getting a director nomination back then.
Yeah.
And in 1997, the original song for I Finally Found Someone, The Mirror Has Two Faces. So she has a varied Oscar nomination resume, but only 2 for actress. But yeah, she's a top star for a really long time there in the 70s and everything.
Papa, can you hear me?
Stop
little
that.
Yentl for your ass.
Stop that right now.
All right, guys. So you're all men in here, right?
Yeah.
The 3 of us are, for
We're
sure.
all men, unless you've been lying to me all these years. But I have a hard time shopping for clothes. I have a really, really hard time going out and getting what I want a lot of times.
Yep.
But there is a service.
There is.
It is called Bombfell that you can go online. You can give them your measurements. You can say, this is what I want. And then they send you the clothes. You don't even have to go to the store for
So it's
stuff.
like a stylist, right?
That's right. They pair you up with a stylist who you just tell them the specifications. Here's my size. This is what I kind of want. I want a short sleeve. I want a long sleeve. I want some pants. Blah 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 blah.
Gotta have pants.
That's right. You gotta have pants. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait for another shipment.
Yeah, seriously.
Because
Or you're going to walk around pantsless.
Because you definitely don't have pants here.
I love that I assume the people are starting out with 0 clothes on pants. They don't have anything to wear if they don't get pants and a shirt.
When I heard about Bombfell, I cleared out my entire closet.
Oh, that was smart.
I cleared it. It's like, you know what? Fuck these clothes. and I said, you're going to be the ones that dress me from now on. And then, if you forget the pants, then,
You're out of luck, man.
Yeah, you're
Now,
fucked.
I have a hard time shopping for clothes because I'm an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I really have no concept of my own body.
Mm-hmm.
And
Same
so,
here.
over the last couple of years, I've lost a little bit of weight. And I had to go from a 34 waist down to a 33 waist. And here I am, 6 months after I did that. And 4 pairs of jeans are basically falling off me everywhere I go. And I'm looking at these jeans you got right here.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have to go out here later today and get some more jeans.
These are easily the comfiest jeans I've ever worn.
Well, that's
bar
awesome.
Bar none.
They also look cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm in the market for some jeans.
Yeah,
so
man.
You never know.
Bombfell.com, baby.
But yeah, your stylist will pick the clothes out for you, and then they send you an email basically saying, here's what you're getting. Do you want this or not? And you say, well, you're the one in charge. But you know what? No, you're actually the one in charge because you're the one that can actually say, no, I actually don't like those.
Well, you could be like, Paisley, I don't want any of that shit.
But once they email you, you can have 48 hours to change it if you want to. Otherwise, you can get the clothes that they picked up for you. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
And you can return whatever you don't like,
you
right?
You can, and in fact, because I'm an idiot, I got the wrong specification for my long sleeve shirt because it's because I'm an idiot. But you know what? It's easy. They send a bag with the order. Mm-hmm. Just put it in there, and you put it in the FedEx, and FedEx sends it out. And
nice.
It's good. It's all good. It's pretty easy.
And no fees.
No fees whatsoever.
Yeah.
No fees. That's a good thing.
You mean they don't have like a restocking fee or an undercoating fee?
No, they don't. You know what? You would if this worked like a cell phone company, for sure, it would be something like a dressing fee, and it would be like, belt tax or something like that. It would be something like that. But yeah, you can receive clothes for what? Every month, 2 months, every 3 months.
Whenever you want.
So you could do it by seasons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You get a new batch, a new outfit or two every season. Mm-hmm. That long sleeve for the fall, and
in the spring you go Paisley.
In the summer, mm-hmm. In spring you get the Paisley or the Hawaiian shirts.
Absolutely.
So what is it again? Bombfell.com/SinCast.
That's right. That's right.
And you don't have to type in any kind of special code. You just go to that link and sign up.
That's it.
And you're good to go. And your personal stylist will be in touch.
And you get $25 off your first order.
That's right.
That's a heck of a deal right there.
Yeah. It's not a small amount of money.
All right. Mm-hmm. And you only pay for the clothes that you keep.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a very simple service.
Yep.
And they don't make money if you don't keep the clothes. So
yeah, bombfell.com. It's BOMBFELL/SinCast. $25 off your first order.
Are we ready to get these heads on?
I just wanted to throw out the names that probably won't contend.
Go for it.
Jessica Lange.
Oh yeah.
And Glenn Close.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they both have had pretty respected careers and a good handful of nominations each, I would guess.
There was a time where Glenn Close and Meryl Streep were essentially tied. I mean, not tied for nominations, but like tied
esteemed.
As far as yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Jessica Lange nominated 6 times and has won twice.
And did she get nominated for the Scorsese? Was it Scorsese that remade Robert De Niro as the evil killer who gets out of prison?
Cape Fear. No, she didn't. She didn't get nominated for that. Okay. She got nominated for Tootsie, and I remember her. I mean, she won for Tootsie. I remember her winning for Blue Sky, which was back in the day because Orion Pictures was behind Blue Sky, and Orion went under, and it was on the shelf for like 2 or 3 years or something.
Oh, geez.
And then it came out in '94, and she got an Oscar for it. But yeah, Jessica Lange's a good call. What was the other one that you?
Glenn Close.
Glenn Close, yeah. And I think she's been nominated a couple of times. She's been nominated 6 times. In fact, she's never won.
Wow.
That's crazy.
What a shame.
She's nominated for The World According to Garp, The Big Chill, The Natural, Fatal Attraction, Dangerous Liaisons. That's an iconic role as Fatal Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerous Liaisons and Albert Nobbs. But 6 nominations, no wins for Glenn Close. But she's another one that's always just really good. I saw her recently. She's in some movie, The Girl with All the Gifts.
Oh.
That's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah.
And she's great in that, too.
Yeah.
She's got that moment in Fatal Attraction. I was watching the end of that the other day. And when Michael Douglas breaks into her apartment and comes to kill her, basically, and he starts choking her, and she's got this fear, and then it's like, it turns into like pleasure. It's almost like the end of Get Out, where that happens too. But she just like stares at him, and then he finally like releases, and he's like, "Holy shit, this fucking woman's crazy!"
Right? Yeah, like he didn't know that already.
That was that famous ending that was reshot after they showed it to test audiences.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Because she gets away with it, I believe, in the original.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she ends up either killing him or I don't know what happens. But
it is called Fatal Attraction.
It is, but maybe it wasn't.
Somebody's gonna die.
Maybe it wasn't then. I don't know. They changed the ending, and then of course, since the movie went on to be like one of the biggest hits of that year, the studios looked at that and go, "See what test audiences do for you."
Yeah, dumb.
Yeah,
she boils a rabbit in that movie.
She does. She's
just wanted to throw that out there.
She's mean. She's so mean.
She's mean.
All right, I'm ready to start talking about who we're going to put on this.
This is going to be hard.
Okay, so we've locked in Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all timer. I put her over on Washington's side. I feel like she's got it got a good Washington face.
You know, this is the third week. I don't even know which of these presidents is where. Whenever you say that, I have to wait till later to see the Photoshop.
Who I think Chris and I, probably at least, would lean toward Ingrid Bergman as one of the other ones.
I've already said I feel like she should be up there.
I'm deficient enough on her, but I would not stand in your way.
All right. So who would you nominate, Jeremy?
Who would I nominate beyond
those two so far?
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Probably one of the Hepburns.
I was thinking Audrey Hepburn. Do you think Audrey Hepburn?
I would nominate Audrey. But again, I haven't seen near as much of Catherine's stuff.
And this is the interesting aspect, right? I think we all know more Audrey Hepburn movies than Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would probably put Audrey Hepburn above her.
Yeah.
On that, even though it doesn't sound right when you look at the nominations and accolades and all that other type of stuff. But I would definitely put her there before Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, and it also speaks to her legacy today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Katharine Hepburn obviously has an iconic career and everything, but who do we think of today as, you know, we've got a decent amount of film knowledge in here, certainly. I think that something that has to be said for standing out in all that landscape, not only because she was precocious and gorgeous and all that stuff, but also because like her performances were iconic.
Only one of the Hepburns had an annoyingly popular mid-90s pop song written about one of the movies.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying.
You remember who did that?
Oh, geez. It was on the satellite radio today before I changed it. Breakfast at Tiffany's. God, as soon as you say it, I'm going to know it.
Deep Blue Something.
Deep Blue Something.
Okay, so we got Audrey Hepburn.
Okay.
Put her in maybe Jefferson's spot. And then we've got Ingrid Bergman and we've got Meryl Streep. I'll throw out Jodie Foster for the last spot.
Okay.
Interesting. I do like the idea of, for no reason at all, filling that spot with someone who's still working today, a.k.a. slightly younger actress as opposed to Shirley Temple or some shit. Oh, shit. Now we got to talk about... No, just kidding. You know, Julianne Moore, Jodie Foster, Sigourney Weaver... I'm kind of torn. All three of those are right up there for me. I might not fight you much on Jodie Foster, but I might slightly lean toward one of the others.
I'm leaning Julianne Moore on this.
Yeah.
Although, God, Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, we also talked about Kate Blanchett quite a bit too.
But who's got like a starring performance? Julianne Moore is great, specifically in ensemble stuff like, you know, Boogie Nights and Shortcuts and, you know, Big Lebowski and things like that. I guess it's true. Still Alice was a showpiece for her, but it wasn't a
major thing. Yeah. It wasn't a major release for a lot of people. Yeah, you're right. She's
like Philip Seymour Hoffman, which is terrific.
Carry a lot of movies, but neither does not anymore. Neither does Sigourney Weaver.
No, but Jodie Foster,
she did.
Though, Jodie Foster used to carry movies.
Yeah, she did.
So I think that she's got more heft to her and a more storied career. I mean, going from all the way from Taxi Driver all the way, she was in something else before Taxi Driver too.
Well, Candle Shoe. I don't know if that was before Taxi. I think Taxi Driver was earlier.
I think it came after.
Yeah.
All I know is, Barrett, just a piece of advice: don't talk about women and use the word heft. Without at least clarifying that you're talking about their career.
Career heft.
There you go.
And then you gotta think even Kate Winslet might even be in this conversation too. So the question also becomes: is any of those actresses enough to knock off Audrey Hepburn even? Or because I think we're fairly solid on Streep and Bergman.
I think so.
I think Audrey Hepburn, again, though, has the roles that define the movie.
Right.
Breakfast at Tiffany's, even Roman Holiday, you could say. Certainly Funny Face, certainly
Sabrina,
Sabrina, and then, of course, My Fair Lady.
Yeah, My Fair Lady,
I don't know. It would be hard to say that Jodie Foster then probably doesn't deserve that spot.
Silence of the Lambs, The Accused, Taxi Driver. She was bit player in Inside Man. She carried it in Panic Room, which, you know, can't be discounted. It's a good movie. So yeah, I mean, and I feel like there's something Jodie Foster did. Of course, Contact. But then again, are we comfortable putting Jodie Foster on our Mount Rushmore of actresses? You know,
that's the thing. I think she's had several good ones, several great ones, but not like consistent. Like it's not been we don't look at something like Elysium and go, man, she was just so good in that. That movie was terrible, but she was great. No, she was not good in Elysium.
All right, so you have now talked me out of Julianne Moore and Jodie Foster, and now I'm looking at Sigourney Weaver and Kate Blanchett. Because Sigourney Weaver has the longer career and maybe a couple more iconic roles, but Kate Blanchett, she has that consistency thing going for her, like Daniel Day-Lewis did, in that she basically never gives a bad performance.
I think her excellence is better than Sigourney Weaver's excellence.
Yeah.
And Sigourney's maybe better suited for the movie star conversation.
I think this belongs to Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's going to surprise a lot of people, but I think you're right.
Yeah. And again, I know a lot of people like just, they really love their Katharine Hepburn. I probably would if I watched enough movies. And we probably should be putting her higher up, but I haven't seen very many. And our rules, not our rules or whatever, we kind of go through the same type of thing. Consistency, always good, has been the lead in the movie.
Yeah, she certainly opened.
Has been the
Elizabeth.
reason we want. Yeah, has been the reason we watch the movie, and so on and so forth. It's not easy to put anybody up there, but yeah, Kate Blanchett is excellent. I think I don't have any problem with her being up there.
Yeah.
And I think she definitely deserves to be.
I think so too, man. I mean, you think about like movie posters and whose face is on the movie posters, and tie that with the performance itself. I think she's got the consistency to be up there.
Yeah. So there you go. We have that's an eclectic Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. So we got Meryl Streep, we got Ingrid Bergman, we got Audrey Hepburn, and Kate Blanchett. That's a murderer's row, right?
I mean, that's unimpeachable.
Yeah.
Really. Okay, now everybody's going to come out of the woodwork.
I would like to throw out Sally Field as the person that gets to be the hands rubbing the shoulders of somebody.
All right.
Because I really would like her to get some kind of wink or something.
We got to have Jodie Foster, peeking around the side of it or something.
Drinking.
Yeah.
She can be the tea drinker.
She's the tea drinker.
Tea
Yes.
drinking. Yes.
Not the pee drinker. Sorry, I don't know why I say things.
And I think Kate Winslet will be there in another 5-10 years.
Right. Although it's funny, Winslet and Blanchett both have roughly the same length of time of work, even though Winslet's slightly younger.
Yeah. And she hasn't carried as much, even though
true.
Certainly in Titanic she's under Leo basically.
Yeah, really, like it's the reader. The reader is like her movie. But yeah, you're right. A lot of the movies that she's in, she's one of the role players. Sense of Sensibility. She's obviously a major character in that, but it's not the reason. It's not the whole story of Sense and Sensibility. Titanic, obviously, she's sharing with Leonardo DiCaprio. And in Little Children, she's one of many who's in there, including Jennifer Connelly. And so Jennifer Connelly was going on that, I think, on that track for a while. I think she could have been up there for a little while there, but yeah, you're right. I think a lot of times she's not really the reason that you watch the movie. I mean, she's the reason, but she's not the main focus of the movie.
Right.
But no, I like this Rushmore.
I'm fine with it.
Solid.
I wouldn't put up any peeps.
All right, you ready to move to questions?
Question.
I got something to say. I want the truth.
I am listening.
Oh man. We've got some good ones. We've got an all-timer right here. And it forced us to do some mental acrobatics. Weird question. If you were to alphabetize your personal DVD Blu-ray collection, what sequence of 5 movies would be the best? For this listener, the best is Castaway, Catch Me If You Can, Children of Men, City of God, and Clerks.
That's
a good one.
Amazing.
That's an amazing run.
Yes.
Jesus.
Let me go for mine first because mine's probably the worst one because I have the tiniest collection.
As long as you have an excuse.
It's not bad, though. So I've got a good M section, and it actually is derailed. I left it out because I didn't notice it, but it is derailed a little bit. So mine goes Magnolia, Malcolm X, Manchester by the Sea, Match Point, The Matrix, and The Muppet Movie.
Oh, that's good.
That is great. What I didn't put in there, and then I looked at it again today, is a Jack Nicholson, Ellen Barkin movie called Man Trouble.
Oh, yeah. Why the fuck do you have that movie?
I have no idea.
That shouldn't even be in your collection. It should just be like hanging out on top of VHS tapes.
Man, I have a copy of that Morgan Freeman, Robin Wright Penn movie, Mall Flanders.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Why the fuck do I have that?
I don't know.
No good reason.
It really makes no sense.
Anyway, it's a solid line.
That's a good lineup. I'm gonna go past 5. I guess I'm being braggy.
Do you
Being
think?
a dick.
Humble brag. Quiz show, The Raid 2, The Red Turtle, The Revenant, The Ring, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, RoboCop.
Nice.
Damn.
That's
a lot of variety, too.
Yeah, that's all across genres and everything.
Yeah, I know. And I was pretty happy with that. I actually wrote 3 or 4 different other ones, and then I finally got down into that lower part of the alphabet, and I went, "Oh, this is the winner right here."
Did you alphabetize your shit?
No, what I did was because everything that I own, I have a digital copy of, so I just went into my hard drive that has all my movies.
Oh, you cheated.
Well, have you seen the pictures of my shelf? I'm not going to go through and alphabetize all that just to answer a question on the podcast. Give me a break. I've got all the same movies digitally, and they're alphabetized, so I just went that way.
Well, I already alphabetized my collection.
Yeah,
so
I know.
This was easy for me to do.
How many do you have, do you think? No.
It's over 1,300.
Jesus
because
Christ.
every time we buy new ones, I put it on this master list, and that master list is over 1,300. So
that's a lot of movies.
It is a lot of movies. Thank God for some collections that keep a lot of discs in one thing and everything like that. Still, it doesn't really much matter. The space issue is going to be a thing. But I found 5 different wings of this alphabetized thing that I really enjoyed. I have a number grouping that has 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street. The 25th Hour with He Got Game, which is in the same case. 28 Days Later with 28 Weeks Later. And the 40-Year-Old Virgin are all in a row.
Nice.
Oh. So that's a good one. The best one is something that is fucked up by Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, no.
So it starts with All the President's Men, and then it goes Almost Famous, and then Amadeus, and then fucking Amazing Spider-Man 2 shows up in the middle of this and fucks it all to fucking goddamn hell.
But hold on, do you not have Amazing Spider-Man?
No, because when we did the first one, I didn't do that video. That was the first one.
Yeah.
And
that's bizarre. You don't.
But you know what's funny is because I have a lot of these part 2s and whatever, I have started going and back ordering a lot of the originals of things. So just so that it doesn't look stupid like that. Still, even if I had Amazing Spider-Man, you'd have a discussion as to whether that counts. And then 2 would fuck it up. And but then after Amazing Spider-Man, it's Amelie, American Beauty, American Hustle, American Psycho.
Nice.
And then American Sniper. Yes, there's a lot of American movies.
Yes.
So that was the biggest volume, and it does have 5 in a row after that Amazing.
There's 2 in theaters right now: American Assassin and American Made.
Oh yeah, that's right. Then I saw Edge of 17, Edge of Tomorrow, Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood, and Election.
That's awesome.
That's a really good one.
That might be the one I picked.
Yeah.
I would watch all of those movies in a row.
I've got 2 more. We'll see which one's the best. Lives of Others, Lobster, Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels, and Logan.
Oh, that's like the most mercurial group. Right?
Yeah.
That is an odd group.
Oh, those are some weird movies. Then the last one that I saw that was worth saying anything about was That Thing You Do, The Theory of Everything, There Will Be Blood, They Live, The Thing, The Third Man, and This Is Spinal Tap.
Wow. Wow. I still think your E-Run is the best.
The E-Run is probably the best, yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah.
What a great question.
It was a great
Who thinks about that kind of shit?
I don't know. Good for him.
It's funny. I have stared at this collection a few times, and it's funny seeing what movies are together. A lot of times, like you see like that those themes of American this, American that, and then you see like those similarly titled movies, or you see the ones where like Edward Scissorhands and Ed Wood, where Johnny Depp is in both of them.
Yeah.
You know?
And they're both Tim Burton.
Yeah, and they're both Tim Burton. So it's like you see a lot of these weird little fun themes when you look at a movie collection like that.
Has a product placement in a movie ever worked on you? After watching Ronin, I always wanted to drive an Audi because of what they do with those cars. That's interesting.
I'm going to say no to this question. No, it has never ever affected me. I would say the closest that it's ever affected me, and it had, and the problem is, it had no bearing because I didn't have a Nintendo Entertainment System when I was young. Was The Wizard.
Oh yeah.
The Wizard was basically a long commercial for Super Mario Brothers 3. And I remember watching that movie going, man, that game looks really fun. I'd really like to play that, but I don't have an NES, so it doesn't really matter. And if I did, I would be buying Super Mario 3 anyway.
That's true.
So it's not like the movie really had any say as to whether I'd go and buy that game or not.
It is an awesome game, though.
Yeah, but I would say no. I mean, if there has been, they did exactly what they wanted to, which is
You didn't realize
I
it.
didn't realize it.
Well, the only one I thought of, I don't think I realized at the time, and that's the 7-Eleven slushies from Encino Man.
Ooh.
Where Pauly Shore puts his mouth under the thing. Now, I grew up in Indiana, and at least where I was growing up, we didn't have 7-Elevens. The chain was not in the area. We had other convenience store chains. And then I went to college, and they had 7-Elevens up there. You had to drive about 30 minutes north of my college town to find one. But it became a problem. Like, I had to take Spanish 2 years in a row because I went to 7-Eleven for slushies too many times. Because I would be walking to class, and I'd see my friend Kevin, and he would be like, hey, slushy? And I'd be like, let's do it. And we'd go get in his car, and we'd drive 30 minutes to Oakton or whatever the fuck it was called, and we'd buy a 7-Eleven big-ass 64-ounce bullshit, slurp it all the way home, and I'm like, shit, I'm gonna have to cut this drama or this Spanish class completely.
I think Nashville, do they have any right now? They may have a couple.
Yes,
God, I feel like I've seen one.
They I know that they used to be a lot more, I think, and then there's not many now. I may be remembering that wrong.
There's
Wheeze
one
the juice.
at Trinity and Dickerson Pike.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can think of off the top. Wheezing the juice.
Just wheezing the juice.
So I'd never had one of those things until I saw that movie.
Brendan Fraser sticks his head in there. Wheeze the juice. Just like, he gets right. It's fucking great.
What a time to live in. Fucking Brendan Fraser and Pauly Shore.
And it's a hit.
Yeah,
That was a
huge
popular
hit.
movie.
Huge hit.
I always liked the BMW that they drive in Goldeneye.
Yeah.
Which was fucking awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
I really obviously I'm not going to go out and buy one, especially when I was like 16 at the time. But it was always super cool. But the one thing that really affected me was my wife and I went to see Sideways in the theater.
Oh,
and immediately after we came out, now she drinks wine. I don't drink wine very much. Immediately after we got out there, we went to like the one wine bar in our town that we lived in at the time, and just ordered a bunch of shit, and we were like comparing like notes about like how it smelled and everything. No, of course we knew nothing about what we were talking about.
Right.
But it just we really wanted to drink wine.
You could just be the other character in the movie. Oh, tastes pretty good to me. That movie came on before I had to come down here today. Like I told you, you're lucky I even showed up. That movie sucks me in.
Yeah. I've always thought that there should be an Oscar for best scene from a movie. So what are your favorite scenes from otherwise average films, such as the Batman warehouse fight in Batman vs. Superman? That's a good example.
Well, that's the best answer, and they stole it in the question.
So there's one movie that I consider insanely average, but it actually has 3 scenes that could be Oscar worthy, and that's in the Lost World Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah,
good call.
You're talking about the gymnastics scene.
The gymnastics scene for sure. That's already on Mount Rushmore. How would you carve that? That would be amazing. But no, there's 3. There's the one that Jeremy has talked about a bunch of times, which is the trailer scene coming off the cliff. That one's the one that would win the Oscar probably. There's another one later on in the movie where the velociraptors are coming through the high grass while they're running through it and everything. Just a great scene of suspense and action that only Spielberg can really do.
Yeah.
And then the scene at the end, it's ludicrous, but I love it. I used to go in and watch this scene all the time, was when the boat comes crashing into San Diego. Everything building up to that boat crashing and the T-Rex coming out of the boat is amazing. Even though when you think back on it, you realize there's no fucking way this happened. But I love everything leading up to it. It's just a great suspenseful scene and everything. Then when you look back on it, you're like, that should have not even fucking happened. But oh well, it's great.
Isn't that the part where they've got like a hand is clutching the the
there's
wheel
a hand
and
still clutching the wheel, and then he decided so T-Rex went on a rampage.
I'm gonna leave that hand.
ate the captain. Or the coxswain, and like left his hand there, and they said, "You know what? I'm going to go back in."
Yes.
and there was somebody alive enough to close the door, and then he died.
We could have done let's talk about the T-Rex's plan since.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure we murdered it in the Sins video.
Sure we did.
We should have done the T-Rex's plan thing.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind is the mansion staircase fight in Matrix Reloaded.
Yeah.
Where Neon takes on Neon.
The Neon Demon.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
How did I say Neon?
You're thinking of Neo and Leon at the same time?
I think I was thinking of Takes On, and it just came out Neon.
Yeah.
Neo takes on all the Merovingians' henchmen except the two Ghost brothers who are going after Trinity and Morpheus and the Keymaker. And there's a lot of great slow-mo. There's a lot of great weapon changing. I feel like there's some homage there to some of the great kung fu classics in terms of how often he puts down a weapon and grabs another one off the wall. It's got that moment where he stops that like person-sized sword that dude is wielding against him. Yeah. And the Merovingian's face is all like, But then he sees he's dripping blood and he's like, see, he's just a man. And after that, he fucking uses the force to pull two of Raphael's from Ninja Turtles' sides off the wall to him to fight. And it's just, I just love that fight scene. I think it is everything the rest of that movie should have been.
It's interesting that that's juxtaposed up against the twins going to fight Morpheus and Trinity. Yeah. Which is, I agree. That's the much better scene.
And it's, the twins thing is the greatest car chase ever.
When you see that scene in there, you realize how much of the rest of the series is wasted.
Yeah.
Because that's the only time they really have a chance to shine in those movies. And like they keep it Mr. Smith heavy a lot, and I like Agent Smith as much as anybody, but those guys have different, unique type of powers within the Matrix, and like you only get a couple scenes, and man, I just wish I could have seen more of them.
Well, and it shows none of the cracks that fighting 100 Agent Smith scene does, because it's not using the CGI. Yep. That is not ready yet. Yeah. And so you don't get rubber Neo, because it's all choreography and actors in the mansion fight, which is what the first movie was. So anyway, that was my answer.
Yeah, I could use more of like the Keymaster's backstory, and like the guy who handles the Keymaster that fights Neo before he gets to him.
Yeah, well, he's basically in a cell.
Is he the key? Is he the key maker or the key master?
Keymaker.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I'm about to say, it just glommed off Ghostbusters there.
I am the gatekeeper.
Yeah,
I didn't like the second Austin Powers movie as much as I liked the first one, the Spy Who Shagged Me, because I think they were hitting just the same notes.
Yeah.
Heather Graham just being more in on the joke than Elizabeth Hurley was. But the Dr. Evil thing, he's got some scenes that just kill me. Of course, he's got like I don't know if it was the first movie or the second movie about the sharks with laser beams, that kind
I'm
of
sure
thing.
That's the first one.
But then of course, you got the whole mini-me thing in the second one too. But they've got the scene where like he's moving his chair around, and he's just like he's and it goes bonkers on him, and he's like, and all of a sudden it starts twisting around, and he's like crawling up on the side of it, and he's like, I need an old priest and a young priest. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. And then afterwards, it finally stops. He puts his hand on his knees, and he's like, feeling really sick now, and he spits.
That's my favorite part of any of those movies. The power of Christ compels you shit is hysterical.
Oh, it killed me.
Those cutaway type of jokes that they put in those are always the best. They're always the best.
Oh my God.
All right, guys. That'll do it for this week. We have a wide array of things to go to after this.
That's right.
We have a Facebook page, the SinCast presented by Cinemasins.
Yep.
That's the one that I'm primarily on. We have SoundCloud still, which I believe Barrett is still answering stuff on. We have Twitter, Jeremy Cinemasins page, Twitter. He answers questions there.
Yeah.
We're just a question answering machine.
That's right.
Together. But go to those various social media sites and sound off and tell us how much we fucked up. And we should have put Scarlett Johansson up there, or maybe Hilary Swank deserves it for her too.
Scarlett Johansson, I think, has made a lot of strides. Not to get off the point, but I think at the beginning of her career, except for maybe Ghost World, like I didn't think that she could act her way out of a paper bag.
Yeah,
but now she's got a lot more, heft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
I'm gonna have to cap the use of heft in this podcast at 2.
She's taking more interesting things. Although this has not been a good year for her particularly.
No.
But she does seem to. Yeah, you're right. She's a lot better than you thought you would think she would be when she first started and everything. But anyway, that'll do it for this week. It's Chris Atkinson, Jeremy Scott, and Barrett Sher. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. Comment on our episodes on our SoundCloud page. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. And be sure to visit Cinemasins.com. He's the man with the golden gun.
Man with a golden gun.
Is that the worst one?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's been a long time since I've seen it because I kind of remember liking that.
It's
That's
awesome.
The one with the House of Mirrors at the end, right?
I don't remember if it had.
It's like where Bond is.
I know the man with a golden gun lived on an island, and there's like a.
You're thinking of Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
I get those confused a lot.
Right.
I was in the gas station on the way over here.
Yeah.
And they were playing the Eagles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they were playing Lion Eyes.
Okay.
Which is like the worst Eagles song ever.
Well, I don't think they all could contend for that title.
I guess. But there's that line on there where it's like, I know where she's going. She's headed for the cheating side of town.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is everything I hate about the Eagles is in that lyric right there.
You gotta watch yourself, man. You're driving through, you might get into the cheating side.
She's headed for the cheating side of town.
You can hide.
Yeah, it's one of those lyrics that they make it try to sound like it's subtle or something. Like, like, I don't know. Well, let's not just say she's cheating. Where's she really going here? Oh, she's going on the part of town where you cheat.
I measure my shit every day just to make sure it's still the same.
That's right. See if I've gained an inch somewhere.
Honey, look.
It's amazing. Let's try it out.
Wow, this went dark fast.
No, how that's the best way it can go, not dark.
I suppose I meant blue. I should have said blue.
Ah, blue.
It went blue.
Yes, it blew. Remember that Snoopy song, the Red Baron?
Oh yeah, man.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'm getting a steal.